Hey everybody, I'm just going to take a quick minute and walk through our 12-step process that we follow here at Property Revolution. A lot of times when you're working with someone, you want to know what to expect or what to expect in the next step. So at Property Revolution, we follow a 12-step process. Step number 1 is you, the client, reaches out to us. You might reach out by a phone call, a form fill online, but either way you reach out to us and say, hey, I need help. We have project consultants here. They're the ones that put quotes together and things like that. So the project consultant is going to talk to you. That's step number 2. They're going to ask you some questions and gather a little information about your project and what you need help with and schedule a consultation. Step number 3, project consultant meets with you and any other decision makers. We all know the telephone game. If I tell you something and you tell someone else and tell someone else, the information gets distorted. So we want to make sure that when we sit down with the project consultant, that anyone else that the project's important to is there. And what that looks like is if your spouse or your fiance is another decision maker, if they could be there, that would be great. Or if your son or your brother-in-law or your uncle is someone that you lean on for advice, it's really great to have that person there to make sure that we can answer their questions. Step number 4, after we've reviewed all the information, talked to the decision makers and made sure we understood what the project's going to look like, we produce a quote and then we walk through that at that meeting with the decision makers and make sure that everybody's on the same page. Now, at that point, we're going to ask you for your business, and if you want to move forward and have us complete the project for you, that's great. If not, we understand that sometimes the answer is no. But assuming we're going to move forward, we have step number 5. At step number 5, we either work through an application for financing if you're looking for flexible payment terms. If not, we ask for a 30% deposit, color selection, and signature on the proposal. So without those 3 things, we're not able to move your project forward beyond step 5. And it seems like common sense, but if we don't know the color of the product you want installed on your house, we can't order it. So oftentimes we find that people will sign, they'll give us their deposit, and then things kind of get stalled out there and we lose some time waiting for those material selections. So if you want your project done in a timely fashion, just make sure you get us those pieces of information as quickly as possible. Step number 6, we do all the work here. We have a great back-end team. Depending on if it's a roof, siding, deck, or fence project, there's different requirements. If a permit's required, we apply for the permit. We do drawings if we need to. We assemble a material list. We create a work order for our team so that everyone's on the same page with what needs to happen in there. Then we move on to step number 7. Our production manager, Brent, once we get things moving forward, he reaches out in case you want an update. He'll provide his contact information and then you can talk to him if needed for some sort of update. Sometimes our timelines are short and all this happens inside of a week. Other times we might be booked out 12 or 14 weeks for a complicated project. And so a lot of people want to know kind of what's happening in the background, and we have an update step built in there. Number 8, this is the waiting period. And again, sometimes this is not a long amount of time and sometimes it's more extensive. This is the hard part. We know you want to get your project moving as quickly as possible, but there is an aspect where we have to wait for material, we might have to wait for permit approval. We do our best to communicate what the expected lead time is for that, but all of those things in step number 8 are outside of our control. So if things get held up by a building inspector or waiting for a material delivery or something like that, we're not able to control that. We do our best to communicate what's going on, but step number 8 is the hard one, just waiting. Then step number 9, Brent, our production manager, reaches out and schedules your project. He'll give you a rough window of maybe a couple of day window when we're going to be there, just because all of our work does take place outside and weather is definitely a factor with the work that we do. And then as we get closer, he'll narrow that down to a specific day and time for our team to come out. Then step number 10, that's the exciting part. Our team comes out, they do the project, they complete the work. Hopefully you get exactly what you were looking for. We do the installation. And then many companies, the process kind of stops there. The project's done and everybody moves on. And we do have a couple of steps after that that are important. One of the most important things that we've built into our process that just makes everybody feel more comfortable Step number 11, we do a final walk around with the crew leader who's in charge of your project. And this is just really important to make sure that there's nothing that seems like it's missed or uneasy feelings about expectations. You know, if you don't understand how something works or the way it's supposed to look, we want to make sure that we talk about that at step number 11. If there's anything that's caught that you wish was a little bit different or a flaw in the material, we create what's called a punch list. And with that punch list, we're just documenting any last minute things that need to be taken care of. If we can button them up right away, we do. Or like I said, if there's a defect that's noticed in the product or something and we need to reorder it, we take care of that at that point. Then step number 12, again, the ball's kind of back in our court for part of it. We issue your final invoice, we register your warranty if you have a manufacturer warranty on something, and then the last piece is it's time to pay your invoice. So when the project's all wrapped up, that's when it's time to pay your final invoice, and hopefully you enjoy your project for many years to come. So in general, that's our 12-step process. We hope this helps understand what you can expect from us here at Property Revolution.